What was the show?
It was some Christmas. I don't
Singing.
know what it was.
Well, then Wendy.
I don't have no idea. I didn't even ask Grandma.
Who got the tickets? Or what?
Grandma House.
Oh, did she?
She bought
Oh,
those.
good for her.
I looked out the window.
What the Oak Ridge voice was it?
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item for this evening will be our spotlight on education.
We're excited. We started a new school-based business this year called School Grounds. It's a school-based business selling coffee and other good treats. So I've asked Mrs. Smith to come in with a few of her students to share this great business that they've started up. It's really exciting. Plus, when they mess up, Mr. Stacey and myself are excited to always do. Give you extras and everything. In fact,
They haven't messed up.
happy accidents. When there's happy accidents, we enjoy them as well.
No,
So.
we give that to you like
we were just
kindness from
Test
all.
the shirt. I guess the shirt
we-
test.
We were not messed up.
Get going, get going.
We tried a new recipe today. We offered you cookies, but they were not messed up. Okay. All right, girls, you want to tell them about this? I have Ronnie Garbison. She's a senior and she's in my culinary class. And then Mick Gadina, she's a freshman and she's in my principal's culinary class. And really the culinary class is the third in the series and they kind of run the thing, but we have people pop in all day long, don't we, Mick? So she picks up the slack in third hour and everybody's kind of trained on how to do things. Today we started our new online ordering menu, so it's kind of schwanky. I know you guys were in and saw some of this, but we just have this nice little, all of our things that we offer. We've got our iced coffees. You order that. We've got hot coffees or tea. Whoops. The next slide's the best, so we gotta get there. We have almond cake, Texas sheet cake, caramel corn, cheese popcorn, Chicago Mex popcorn, chocolate chip cookies, veggies and dip, and frozen grapes, pretty much on hand all week long. And if we run low, I'm like, hey, you guys, we need a Texas sheet cake, we need an almond cake, and they're really good at just whipping these things up. So, really, it's not, this is not an insult, guys, but it's not that different from kindergarten because we're all learning to work together and taking, no, it's a good thing, but you gotta work with people that maybe aren't your best friends, just like in the real world. And so, that's kind of cool there. What's our new latest thing that we're working on? Sugar cookies. We need 500 sugar cookies and icing for the elementary kids to do their winter party. And so they've gotten that stuff from Gordon Foods before, but this year they reached out and asked if we wanted to do it. So my head hurts because I'm trying to calculate how many batches of icing, how many cups of Crisco, blah, 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 which I should be having the kids do, honestly, but we'll get there. So we're working on that. We catered or helped cater a Farm Bureau meal. And eventually we hope to be open up, like kids can stop in if their teachers say it's okay. Hopefully we hope to be during the SRT time, right? Okay, and these guys made you guys some caramel corn. So do you want to give that to them? Don't give any to Mr. Kaiser because he knows all about how it tastes and he doesn't need any more.
I have been the beneficiary of the caramel corn, yes.
So we're excited for this opportunity and it's really fun. And, thanks to Mr. Book for his idea of getting this going.
Thanks, Ron.
That's how he lured me in.
And I'm still mad at you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Pass it around. You, is there any more? You shouldn't get any, you said we messed things up.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, I'm not.
I never mess up pretty good.
That's what you mean. Oh, okay. But I feel rude for you. Okay,
It's
guys, I'm
Thank you for I've never
been to a school board meeting. I feel like there's
You nailed it.
So what's the best part of this class? What do you enjoy making?
whenever like the popcorn touches the counter, she lets me eat it because we can't give that to people, because they bought it. So I get to eat the popcorn that touches. That's my favorite part.
Does that ever happen? Not so accidentally.
Not in the
Not
kitchen.
in the
You
kitchen.
cannot eat food in the kitchen. I also like wearing hairnet. It like makes me feel like.
What's been the biggest challenge?
In my class, probably getting along with each other. But we work it out. It's okay. We get it. We get it done. I think in my class, we have a hard time actually reading the recipe before we do it. That happens in the rest of us.
That's kind of important.
Yeah, you'd think so. Well, bye guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
I know some of us got to see it firsthand the other day when we did our tour, and it was pretty impressive. I think we all liked the idea, and happy to see it's being successful.
It's got some kinks, it's not perfect, but it's a neat learning experience.
Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, we'll approve the agenda next. Are there any additionals, Mrs. Cheeseman?
No changes to tonight's agenda.
Any discussion on it? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up will be public comment for this evening. Ms. Grandstaff?
There was none.
No public comment tonight? Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda items. First, we'll just look over the minutes of all the November meetings. Is there any questions or discussions on those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes. I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. That'll bring us to the financial items for this evening. Mrs. Grandstaff?
Our first source bank statement balance for the month of November was $5,509,770.70. Our first federal bank statement balance was $515.08. Our monthly claims for November were the amount of $1,508,479.43. Your claims, fund report, and the EPCSC summary are attached in your packet. The transfers for the month of November were the cafeteria transfer for October, and the Medicaid to Education Fund, and then grant cleanups. There was one multi-year contract with the company Promethean, which is a 5-year license for the Promethean boards. That comes out to $1,344 a year for all of our Promethean boards. And then the summary of education expenditures is attached in your packet for your review.
Any questions or discussions on the financials this evening? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the financial items presented.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That'll bring us to the personnel items for tonight. Mrs. Cheeseman.
Yeah, I request the approval of the personnel items contained in your board packet.
Any questions or discussion on that item?
Does that put us at full, like for bus drivers, are we at full capacity now? Or do
Currently, we are. We
Yeah.
are still evaluating routes. We met with Mr. Tiarina last week, trying to ascertain that. We have another retirement, I believe, coming up with the bus drivers, but we also have a couple people that are still in the process of getting their licenses. So once they have that, they will either sub or we can slide them into a position. So we still have some people working on it. And Matthew Hero actually started driving this week, so he's been taking some routes.
Are any other questions or discussion? If there is none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the personnel items.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next up will be the start of our action and discussion items for tonight, beginning with the Neola's policy update. This is a first reading only.
This volume comes from Neola. It has 16 policies for revision, 4 technical corrections, 4 replacement policies, and the rescission of 7 policies. Again, it'll come up for discussion and voting next month. It's a little late this year, but it's just taken longer for Neola to get it out with all the legislative changes.
Any questions or discussion on the policies? I had a question on one. It's on the third page, policy 3231, outside activities of staff.
Page which one?
I think it's about the third page, 3231. Right there. So it says it has been revised to clarify that staff members may not tutor outside of school if the student is currently enrolled in their class and the subject of the tutoring is a subject being taught.
That comes down, there was legislative precedent said that they could tutor the student as long as they're not charging the student for money.
So this won't affect our after-school tutoring
No.
at all?
No.
So this is
No,
just for paid tutoring?
For paid tutoring by a teacher for one of their own students.
Okay.
And that comes down from a new case law that just was decided,
Okay,
so.
I was just trying to clarify this wouldn't affect any of our tutoring
No.
after school
No.
by our staff,
No.
because it really doesn't go into the being paid part, so.
Right.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions on any of the policies? Okay, that'll come back next month as a second reading then for approval. So that'll bring us to our next item, which is donations for this evening. Mrs. Cheatham?
And a very generous community, the Jim Dobson Memorial Fund donated $1,098 to support the music program. There's a Lightstream donation for $8,529.58 for a plasma cutter and machine torch for the welding program. Mr. James is interested in starting a student-run business in the welding program as well, and this was some equipment that he needed to make that happen, and Lightstream was generous and wanted to help get that started. High school ECA donations, $194.19 for the National Honor Society membership pins and cards from the Kids Are Our Future Klitzman Family Fund. $250 for the high school shout-out awards from Sycamore Marketing. A $50 anonymous donation for the wrestling program. $100 towards School Grounds Coffee Shop from Pulaski County Farm Bureau, and $200 for the FFA from the Pulaski County Farm Bureau. So I request your approval of those donations.
A lot of them tonight. Any questions or discussions on the donations? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion. Go ahead, Steve.
I make a motion to approve the donations as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next up will be a memorandum of understanding with 4C Health.
Okay, this was a technical correction, and 4C Health had asked us to renew it. It doesn't change any of the parameters put forth by us, and they just asked that we renew the one that we did in July, and it'll extend through the end of the school year. And this is also necessary, not only for the skills-based trainers that we have and the therapist that comes in to work with our students, but it's also a requirement to have this MOU in place for us to be able to apply for the Secured Schools grant that we get in order to pay for our part of our resource officer. So I request your approval of renewing this MOU.
We definitely want that ability. Any other questions or discussion? Entertain a motion.
I move to approve the 4C Health MOU.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us up to our JAG partnership commitment.
Again, this is another renewal, and I have some information I want to share about JAG, but we have the expert teacher, Jackie Bailey, here in the room. So I offered to let her share because she put together the information, but she said I would go ahead and share, and she would answer any follow-up questions that you might have. JAG is Jobs for America's Graduates, and it's all about helping students build confidence, workplace skills, and a solid plan for life after high school. It's a hands-on supportive class where students learn everything from career exploration and leadership skills to practical things like resume writing and interview prep. JAG also connects students with community service opportunities, competitions, and real-life employers. Overall, it's a great program for students who want extra guidance, real-world experience, and a positive place to grow. So this year, we have 27 students enrolled in the program.
Last year's seniors received follow-up services to make sure they're staying on track, whether they've enrolled in the workforce or post-secondary education. Last year as well, we had 27 students. 6 of those students earned a governor's work ethics certificate. That's an Indiana program that recognizes high school seniors for demonstrating key employability skills such as attendance, discipline issues, GPA, and community service. Actually, lack of discipline issues is what I should have said. They made and donated 16 blankets to the Pulaski Animal Center, and $2,600 in scholarships were awarded to the seniors. The year before that, we had 19 students enrolled. So we're in our 3rd year. It's continuing to grow. And Mrs. Bailey is here if you have any questions for her about her program.
Great program. I almost think it needs to be offered to, or not offered, I think it maybe needs to be looked at as everyone needs to take something like this. I think it's that important. I'm curious of the kids that did enroll, what percentage usually follow through with it all the way to the end?
Well, like last year, all the seniors that graduated, I have stayed in contact with them for a year. That's part of JAG. That's part of the Workforce Investment Act requirements that we follow up with them. So every month, I'm to reach out to them to see, are you still employed? If you're not employed, let me help you. Or like I had a young girl that was supposed to go to IB Tech, but then, life happens. So then we made sure, like she's in the workforce full time, so lots of times when they leave here, they may not think, oh, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then life happens. So then, we're just there to say, oh, it's okay, and make sure that they're staying on track. Because, we want them, in the workforce or post-secondary or both. So it's just, young people, they have a hard time talking to people they don't know, so when we had this other scholarship program, we would introduce kids, take them to the colleges or, try to get them involved with, different community members, and then that way they get more used to talking to, they're used to us, and then when they get out to the real world, I blame social media a lot, because nowadays, they can talk all day long if they're on the computer or a phone, but you ask them to, come up and talk to, maybe somebody in financial aid at IB Tech or IUK, they're gonna put it off because they don't know how to interact, so that's a lot of it too, to make sure that they are comfortable doing that.
Thanks for your efforts. I think it's important.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoy it.
Mrs. Bailey, what would you say is like the biggest concern that you hear from the kids who are getting ready to graduate about finding a job?
Well, and before, I've worked with kids for the past 20 years, so I worked a lot with high school dropouts, and I've seen a shift over the past 10, 12 years, that where there's too many that's not prepared. Like, I have a few here, that it's a struggle, to get them to do things, so then more than likely those are the ones that's going to be harder to get employed. And that's why they have JAG, because Department of Labor, has, recognized that, there's a lot of people that, young people that it's hard for them to get into the workforce. So, I think for the most part, like, I noticed a lot of the seniors this year are undecided on what they want to do. Some's looking at skilled trades, more want to get into the workforce than post-secondary. Where last year, a lot of the seniors, they was going into post-secondary. So, I just want to make sure that they are prepared. We went to the skilled trades fair, because I had a lot that, was interested in construction or, welding or anything. So they got some hands-on experience that way. They got to talk to people that do apprenticeships and stuff like that. So that kind of exposure, is going to help That's our goal, right?
Are the majority of the students taking this going into the workforce then? Is that what it's geared towards?
This year, I've seen, this year I have more students that's looking to get into the workforce versus post-secondary. And that may change, I've had kids that say, hey, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then, they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that now. I'm like, what? We've been working months, but, that's why I felt I need to be there to help them transition. Okay, all right, so, if something happened at home where they can't, okay, that's okay, but let's do this. And, give them different options.
The more guidance, the better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they need that, so.
Thank you. Does anyone have
Thank
anything
you.
else? Okay, well, now we're gonna talk about insurance renewal.
All right, our total annual increase, our total annual,
Oh, we need to vote on that.
Yeah, we need to
Yep. Sorry. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the JAG partnership commitment?
I'll make a motion to approve the partnership.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Sorry, I was about to skip over that.
I was tongue-tied anyway, so it's
Yep.
okay. All right, our total annual insurance spend for the upcoming year will be $343,865. That's an increase of $31,620 over last year. This increase is driven by higher property values and other exposure increases, claims history, continued challenging conditions in the public school insurance market, and last year's short-term premiums skew the year-over-year comparisons. Based on market trends for Indiana public schools, our actual renewal came in lower than was expected. So our insurance company, Katie's not able to be here tonight, but she as well was really thrilled with actually what it came in as, and thought it came in less than expected for what we were going to get. So I'm bringing it to you. We have to have insurance, and there aren't a lot of options, but I am bringing it to you for your awareness and your approval.
So we should be happy with the 10% increase?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on the insurance?
Can you define exposure changes? I guess what?
We have had some situations in the corporation that insurance has had to kick in for. So we've had some exposure that it has caused our claims to go up.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move approval of the insurance renewal as presented.
Second.
With a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, lastly, for our additional board topics, since we've already had more winter in the last month than we've probably had in the last 2 years, Mrs. Cheesem is going to give us a refresher course on how our e-learning and our school delays and after-school activities and the whole shebang.
It came in with a bang.
Yeah.
The whole shebang came in with a bang, and it came in quicker than anticipated. I'm really hopeful that this isn't the trend that we're going to see all winter. First of all, we have an app that the administrators have, I have as a superintendent, that gives us alerts in advance of what's coming. It monitors lots of different models, and it is eerily correct in timing and amounts. I mean, they're really pretty spot on things. The other nice thing with this app that we have is that we can chat with the meteorologist, that we will text them, and within 2 to 3 minutes we are getting responses from the meteorologist that we're asking how much rain or how much snow, how much ice do you expect, is the timing that we're hearing, has that changed? And so they're giving us feedback specifically for Pulaski County and Winamac. So that is a nice feature. So when we start hearing that these events are coming, I'm going to call them an event, the chatter on my phone starts the day before We have area superintendents that are texting back and forth, comparing what we've heard, just trying to stay in touch because student safety is always the number one priority. And we have a lot of area to cover. So I looked up how large Pulaski County is. I know we have 2 schools in the county, but there's 343 square miles, and there's Mr. Tiarina and myself. Although we're also talking to people that are going to work in the mornings, who are coming to work. Trent's coming from out of town. He's texting us and letting us know what he's seeing. And we are, so, you know, if it's come in the night before and we can let families know in advance that we're going to delay in the morning because the roads are bad, we will let parents know the night before. I prefer to give them as much notice as I can. Otherwise, we are out on the roads by 5 in the morning, and Johnny and I head different directions to check out different areas, and at that point, he's calling transportation directors across the area, and I'm texting with superintendents. I stop and I text, or I call, to see what they're seeing. We also reach out to the county department to hear what they know about the roads, because we can't be everywhere at once. So we're putting all this information in, and it's amazing. We can have fog up in the northeast part, and the southern part of the district is fine. And people will think, "What are you doing calling a delay? It looks fine." But if it's a big enough area that it's a danger, 1 to buses, 2 to staff, student drivers, we have lots of people out on the roads, and so we just want to be safe. The other thing that people don't always realize is that we typically have to make that decision by about 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest, because we have people coming on the roads, drivers getting up, drivers heading out, so we need to make those decisions early, and then things change by 8 o'clock. But those decisions are pretty much made by 5:30 so that we can get those texts and those phone calls and emails and everything sent out to notify families. So we make that call at 5:30. I know some teachers in this room particularly like that 2-hour delay. I sometimes get smiley faces back when that 2-hour delay notification goes out. I don't know who that would be, Beth Smith. But anyway, then again at 7 o'clock, we head back out to see what it looks like at 7 o'clock, if not later. Trucks are on the county roads by then and can let us know what they're seeing, and if they think that we can get it opened up safely, we have to make a decision by 7:30 for a 10 o'clock start, whether we're going to be able to get here on time or not. Sometimes sun comes out, weather's right, temperatures rise, snow melts, and it's a beautiful noon day, and we have events planned in the afternoon. And so if the weather changes enough that it's safe for us to get out, varsity events may go ahead and occur. If the other school feels comfortable coming, or if they think it's safe, on their roads, if we think we can get our buses there, our families here and back safely, we would consider having varsity events. Not just sporting events, but varsity events, we would consider having those. If it's not safe, we don't have them. We do now have the option for e-learning, and last year we started doing what's called synchronous e-learning, and that's where teachers get online with their classes, and they have to do it for half of the day. So half the day, over half have to attend. We have to have good, strong attendance for it to count for an e-learning day. And then those count towards our 180 days, and learning actually can continue because they're interacting in a timely fashion. Learning can continue face-to-face. If we don't do what's called synchronous, that live interaction, it's called asynchronous. That's the old-fashioned paper, pencil, send something out, do it and turn it in. The state now says we can only have 3 of those. When we first started e-learning, there wasn't a limit, but now the state says it's only allowed that we can have 3. And we already used up 1 in September because when we had our safety reunification planning day, and that was an asynchronous learning day for our students, so that counted as 1. We had some issues with Chromebooks on the first day after Thanksgiving at the elementary, so they did their second one. The rest of the district was synchronous, and so that's where we are with the e-learning. Questions about whether, if you'd like to volunteer to drive the roads, I'd love to have some other people out in other parts of the county. I would tell you, the day that we delayed, so we were off 2 days. The third day, we had a 2-hour delay. The fourth day, we had a 2-hour delay. And some people in some other areas, not our district, said, I think we can go on time. And I'm like, oh, this road over there, Peggy Hall lives, was not plowed. 100 was not plowed. And I turned on another road, and I thought I was going to get stuck. And I was looking to see if I had signal because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to call anyone or locate me. My husband, but anyway, we were not able to go on time that day, and we sent the county out in that direction because there was some really drifted roads, but there were other roads that were completely fine. And I thought I was just looking for some black ice, some slickness, and I took my car, and next time I think I'll take my husband's truck because it was a little iffy there for a few minutes.
Well, I think most people are just comfortable knowing that you've got the safety in mind and that we're usually erring on the side of caution and that most of us don't want to have to be the one making that decision. So we appreciate those efforts.
We do try and err on the side of caution. And there are some times that weather changes. Fog is probably the trickiest. I like it when spring and fall when it's daylight, and that's a little easier, but things can change so quickly, and then I've already got buses out, so we try and be conservative.
Well, like you say, it changes so fast that you can have bad weather in the morning, and by the afternoon things are perfectly fine, and there's no reason to not have events that would have to be rescheduled. And I think that policy has been around for quite a while now, 6 or 7 years at least. So
and that's in our athletic handbook that says that we look at what the weather is around noon, and again we go out on the roads again at that time and drive them again a third time to see if they are clear, because town looks completely different, and our athletes and our high school students are coming in from different parts of the county, so we go out and drive it again to make sure it's safe.
So we haven't had any winter for a couple years hardly, so it's easy to forget some of our policies and how things work.
And we also, the other one I didn't mention is wind chill, and we're monitoring that, and it starts to get, when that wind chill gets down to about 15 below, we start looking at delays, and if that stays down 15 below, 20 below, we're going to cancel school. Buses, Johnny's out there getting them started, and they're plugged in, so they typically start.
You just could still have issues with fuel gelling,
getting
'cause
stranded
we've
out,
fought it for
kids
years.
walking, and it's just a safety. So we just tend to err on the conservative side. So yes, but you're exactly right.
I've seen buses sitting along the road with kids in them before, and you know what was sitting, because it's that quick run. That's not good.
Well, does anyone have any other questions they'd like to ask on the topic?
That's good.
Hopefully this is a sign of an early spring by getting an early winter, right?
It was really nice for a long period of time.
Yeah. It's a good way to break in our new director of transportation.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move on to our principals reports now.
Next Monday, our band and choir will be performing at their annual Christmas concert. I encourage you to stop by and listen to wonderful Christmas music. Ms. Sutton and Ms. Treasurer always do a great job preparing our students for a night of music and celebration. Please stop by and support our band and choir students as they wrap up their first semester. I also want to recognize our student council once again this year for their annual tree collection. Each winter, our student council collects money for clothing items to donate to local families. So far this winter, they've collected clothes to support over 30 local children. We want to thank them for their efforts and generosity during the season of giving. And lastly, next week, WCHS will be wrapping up another successful semester. We celebrated our first semester with our quarterly warrior shoutouts and the popular lip sync battles. I want to thank all local businesses that donate to this event to ensure our students receive the recognition they deserve for a job well done. I want to thank students, staff, and families for a successful first semester. I appreciate everyone's hard work this semester as I'm looking forward to 2026 and the exciting also have a music concert. Ours is tomorrow. I'm sure they'd love to have you come and visit, to see transformation from day one, 6th grade band. Don't recommend ever going into that first day to how they can perform at concert time. So please come tomorrow at 7. We had our first esports school competition. Jake Armstrong has brought that to our middle school, and students got to, the competition was Mario Kart. For the finale, all the students came to the auditorium for the last 20 or 30 minutes of the day before Thanksgiving to see and cheer on each grade level's champion. And Seaver DuPois was the 8th grade champion, Clayton Adkins was the 7th grade champion, and Ethan McCready was the 6th grade champion. If you want to hear excitement, my ears are still ringing. The students loved it to watch and see them compete. And Ethan McCready, Clayton Adkins, 7th grade, won the championship. So kudos to Mr. Armstrong for bringing that exciting event to our school. He is looking at maybe another competition coming up too. Congratulations goes to Eli Burgess and Sophia Kramer for their folks selected for the Lightstream calendar. And to wrap up our year, we're gonna each grade level gets to do some fun end of year celebration, and then we also are doing we did an incentive for this 9 weeks for attendance. As you know, attendance, keep people here is very important. So we have a kind of a fun celebration lined up for that coming up next Thursday. So
I'm going to start by recognizing our elementary snowball team and Lexi Sportsville, their coach. We were really excited. Not only did we win our division at the Purdue event, which was hosted in Knoxville a couple of weeks ago, but we also had the highest score out of everybody. So to be honest with you, there were some of those words I have no idea how to spell. So the kids really did a remarkable job. Very, very challenging. And I know they worked a lot, gave up a lot of lunch times, and had a lot of working lunches where they practiced those words. So we were just really, really proud of them. Also wanted to thank our students for a very successful food drive that we had a few weeks ago as well. We collected over 2,000 items supporting many local organizations with their food and their animal center. And Grace Wheeler's 2nd grade class was the winning class, so that was always a fun thing. Like Mr. Dickinson and Mr. Hook shared with you, it is the season of our holiday concerts. This Thursday night we'll have our Express concert. That's going to be at 6 o'clock in the high school auditorium. And then our K through 2 Christmas program will be held on December 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we want to send well wishes to Brandy Hayes, our new music teacher, as I know she's anxiously awaiting those 2 programs. We also are going to host our 1st grade night at the North Pole, a 1st grade tradition. That's going to be next Thursday, the 18th at 6 o'clock. So always a great event. And at the elementary school, we are in the heart of our middle of the year assessments. Our K through 2 teachers are doing their Acadians testing, with checking the skills of those reading and math areas. And we're also doing some checkpoints in grade 3 this week. So looking forward to our teachers spending time with Coach Schultz, really diving into that data so that when we come back in January, we've adjusted our groups and made sure all of our students are getting the skill-specific instructions they need to reach their end-of-the-year target. So it's hard to believe we're nearing the halfway point of our school year. I'm just going to wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you.
Anyone have anything else for the principals? Okay, Mrs. Cheeseman, would you like to give your report?
I do. I would like to recognize some of our middle school and high school art students. They were chosen for the 2026 Lightstream calendars. Eli Overmeyer, Michaela Kindle, Sophie Scott, Eli Burgess, and Sophia Kramer all have some tremendous artwork in the calendar. So if you have a chance to see their work, grab a calendar. It's really great work. I also wanted to update you. I know on one of those days last week, not only was it really cold and the weather was terrible, we had some water issues in the building, and it was not the same issues we've had in the past. So upstairs, these heating units run around the exterior of the building, and over the past couple of years, Stan and now Trent have really been working on tweaking that whole system. We have I said the right word earlier, but a flap or louver that opens and shuts, and a couple years ago when we had the big water break, they were freezing open and all that cold air was getting in there, so they worked on making those move correctly. They also put insulation in them to help with that winter cold. 3 rooms were impacted upstairs over the cold snap. I think it started out, we had a power failure and the boilers went out because they had fault codes. And then 2 of the rooms, it was the cold water pipes that go to the chiller and not the boilers with the pink stuff that caused all the issues 2 years ago. So it was a different problem. One of the rooms, Bianca Ash's, still was that other pipe. What we think happened this time is the interior rooms got too cold, and Trent realized that the system, we have an automated system that adjusts the temperatures, and they are kind of on wings, and those rooms are getting shut off. So in order to save some money, the temperature was getting shut off, and then it got cold from the inside this time. So we have now adjusted them so that we are returning back the temperature at nights and weekends, but it's not being shut off, to keep that warm enough so that hopefully this won't freeze. We're hoping that will solve this issue. We've had to order some coils, new coils being made for Bianca Ash's room. Those will come in over Christmas, and we'll get that room fixed. She's sharing space right now with Kim Perry, and the other rooms are fixed. The other issue was they broke upstairs, and what happens with water? They come downstairs, and the downstairs rooms were probably worse than the upstairs rooms with the cleanup. So Mr. Stasiak and Mr. Armstrong and the study hall room were impacted, but the maintenance and custodial crews got right in here. Lindy Booz helped, so we really appreciate all the cleanup that happened that day and got them back in the classroom. So if changing the temperature doesn't work, the next step is to get some quotes on changing it. I mean, probably the original units that were put in with the building, and at least that wing, coming up with a different system that's not open to the elements upstairs. So that will be the next quote if this doesn't fix the problem. But last year I don't think we had any issues, and
so the boiler didn't go out.
There were fault codes on the boilers. I think the power went out for a period of time. Trent said that he and Johnny had been here until 8 o'clock that night before, plowing the parking lot and getting everything ready in the sidewalks, and had been in the building kind of checking things. And so it happened sometime after that, but before he got here the following morning at 5. So
that's a question I guess I'd never known. During the night, there's nobody in the building.
They are here until about midnight. We have custodial staff here until about midnight, and then we have maintenance staff, custodial staff that takes turns on the weekends and on the holidays. They walk all the buildings and check things, and so they had been through. It just happened, we don't have the custodial staff here until midnight on a weekend, and they'd already done the walkthrough. It happened, so hopefully we're putting some measures in place by keeping those room temperatures a little warmer than we have in the past. And
is there any type of alarm system that would, if it drops to a certain temperature, that would alert somebody?
There is. They are supposed to get alarms on this system for the boilers, that if they exceed a certain situation, they get notified. I'm not sure what happened. We've also had some discussions. Is there an alarm we can put on the pipes? Seriously, that if something happens, we would be notified quicker, because we caught Mr. Burgess's room pretty quickly and got that taken care of, and it was minimal. Mrs. Ash's room, we didn't catch as quickly, and it caused a lot more issues. So.
Or pinpointing where the issue is going to occur to know where to try to hit it off.
Sounds like we might be challenged this upcoming weekend, so with the weather.
Yeah. Trent will have some sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Walking it, yeah. So.
That's all you got?
I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Is anyone have any? Oh, Mrs. Cheesman? Okay, we'll begin board comment. Mr. Campbell, it's your turn to start.
No comment.
Mr. Kaiser?
No comment this evening.
Mr. Cunningham?
No comment.
Mr. Light?
No comment.
Mr. Ralph?
Once again, I'm amazed with the generosity of our community with all the donations, and that the one from Lightstream could really be a big stepping stone for our welding class.
Excited to see the business they're planning on starting. Mr. Terry?
No comment.
Okay. Well, that takes care of tonight's agenda, so all that's left is a motion for adjournment.
Motion adjourned.
I second
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you for the carbon.
it. Okay, click my ink pen.